Keep it juicy, juicy. I eat that lunch. She keep that booty, booty. She keep that plump. That natural beauty, beauty. Yeah, yeah. If you could see it from the front, wait till you see it from the back.
Alright cuties, let's get into this video. So I'm taking some bleach and I'm going to take some 30 volume developer. I'm going to mix these together until it makes a slight paste, something similar to this. FYI, this was not enough for a frontal, so I had to make a little bit more dye. So I'm taking a frontal with a piece of foil and I'm going to well, first let me show you the knots. As you can see, there are black knots and they're quite prominent. So you're also going to need the Clairol Shimmering Light Shampoo. I have the generic one from Sally's, and a mixing bowl with a mixing dye brush. So I'm taking the bleach paste and I'm patting it on to the bottom of the lace. That way it will get the knots. I'm trying to be extra careful so that the bleach doesn't seep through and dye too much of the hair, as well as dye some of the pieces. Here's the finished product. I'm going to take this, flip it over, and put it on my foil to marinate. And I'm taking a piece of paper towel just to get some of that like leftover bleach so that it doesn't dye too much of the hair. And as you can see, what lace, what knots, those ones right there. And then over time I let it sit for 25 minutes, and some spots were good but a lot of spots weren't. So I just let it sit for a little bit longer. As you can see, it's still cooking. And so just FYI, so the first round was 25 minutes, let it sit for 10 minutes longer, and now I'm rinsing it off. I would suggest wearing gloves if you need to. This is bleach, y'all, so please do be careful. And also, I am not a professional. I'm just an avid YouTube watcher, and I'm trying to learn how to slay my hair. So as you can see, the knots are nice and bleached. What lace? What lace is loading? So I'm taking the Shimmering Light Shampoo and I'm going to scrub that into the hair and make sure it's nice and lathered just to get some of that brassy yellowness out of the lace. And I'm going to let it sit for 10 minutes. So after rinsing it out, you can see that things are nice and clean and some of that brassy yellowness has kind of subsided. So let's get into dyeing the bundles. So I'm taking the HiColor Black Onyx from L'Oreal. I purchased this from Sally's for about $7 a piece, so maybe $14 in total. This is a high concentrate dye. You have to mix developer with it. I have my mixing bowl, I have gloves, I have my mixing brush, I have a wide tooth comb, and I'm going to get to mixing the product. So first thing I do is I pour a little bit of 30 volume developer into the mixing bowl. The mixing bowl has a measuring like lines on it. I forgot how much it said to pour in, so I poured that in, and then I poured some of the dyes in, and I mixed both dyes into the mixing bowl container. The container was quite full. The two boxes of dye were enough for my frontal and 3 bundles, and my bundles were pretty long. I think it was an 18, a 20, and maybe a 22. You know how to do. So I'm mixing these all together and I'm just pouring it in. As you can see, I put the gloves on. This is some strong, powerful dye, y'all, so it actually might dye your hands. So I highly encourage you to wear gloves and follow the instructions that are on the packet. So I'm mixing, and now it's kind of a creamy white texture. Here's a trick I learned from Tierra Monet: spraying some spray on your frontal to prevent the dye from seeping in. I'm sectioning off my frontal, and I'm clipping it back, and then I'm going to start brushing in the dye from the bottom to the top. As you can see, the dye has turned to a black. Y'all, this is your frontal that we have just bleached, so just try to be careful and not re-bleach the lace black. I've done it before, and that wig is toast. So I'm taking these bundles, and I'm not being as careful as I was with the frontal, and I'm kind of just brushing in the dye into the bundles, and this is in a bowl with a trash bag lining the bowl. Okay, y'all, I wanted the dye to really penetrate, so I let it sit on for about 17 to 35 minutes. Then I use this Aussie Moist 3-minute Miracle Condition, and I deep condition that bad boy just to get it into my bundles. And here is the big reveal. Voila!
If you could see it from the front till you see it from the back, yeah, back, till you see it back, yeah, back, till you see it from the back, yeah, back, till you see it from the. If you could see it from the front till you see it.